All right, let's dive right in. In this explainer, we're going to talk about something profound and honestly a little unsettling. We're looking at how artificial intelligence is building this whole synthetic world all around us. A world that's fundamentally changing how you and I see, well, everything.
Okay, so take a look at this social media influencer. She's got millions of followers, big-time brand deals, but here's the kicker. She doesn't exist. Her name is Lil Miquela, and she's what you call a virtual influencer. She is completely crafted by AI and designers, and believe me, she's just the tip of the iceberg.
And this goes way beyond just entertainment. Think about the high-stakes world of politics, right? A single viral video can completely flip an election. But what if that video is totally fake? With deepfake technology, that's exactly what can happen. That clip you see of a politician, it could be 100% fabricated by an AI. The power to swing public opinion here, it's just staggering.
And it gets super personal too. You might be chatting with an AI for some advice or getting these recommendations that just feel perfect, like they really get you. But here's the thing. Those same systems can be quietly nudging you, steering your decisions on everything from what you buy to what you believe, and you might not even notice it's happening.
So, this isn't some far-off sci-fi future. This is the world we're living in right now. It's this new landscape we're all trying to figure out, and there's a name for it. Philosophers call it the hyperreal. It's this space where that line between what's real and what's artificial just starts to melt away.
So you're probably wondering, how is any of this even possible? Well, to get that, we've got to pop the hood and look at the engine driving all of this. Let's talk about the synthetic media engine. Okay, so the core tech here is called synthetic media. It's kind of a catch-all term for any content, text, images, audio, you name it, that's made by an AI. But the really important thing to get is this. This isn't just about editing or copying real stuff. No, this is about creating something totally new from scratch, just out of data and algorithms. And one of the most powerful and maybe most concerning types of synthetic media is the deepfake. I'm sure you've heard of them. They can create what looks like solid video proof of things that never, ever happened. You can see how that's a huge tool for spreading this information, right? And then we circle back to characters like Lil Miquela, the virtual influencers. These aren't people, they're synthetic personalities, literally designed to be as appealing as possible. Their style, their personality, what they care about, it's all based on market research. And get this, it works. Sources show they can pull in almost 3 times more engagement than actual human influencers.
Wow! So how in the world does an AI get so good at faking it? Well, a lot of this magic comes from something called a GAN, or a generative adversarial network. The easiest way to think about it is like a game of cat and mouse between 2 AIs. You've got one AI, the generator, that's the forger, creating a fake. Then you have the discriminator, that's the detective, trying to catch the fake. Every time the detective spots a flaw, the forger learns and gets better. And they play this game millions of times until the forger is so good, the detective just can't tell the difference anymore.
Okay, so that's the tech side of things. But let's pull back a bit. Let's talk about the big picture. What does it actually mean for us, for society, when that line between real and fake just disappears? Well, that's when we step into this world of hyperreality.
Yeah, there was this French philosopher, Jean Baudrillard, who really nailed this idea ages ago. He called it the generation by models of a real without origin or reality. What does that even mean? It means we're creating simulations that are so good, so convincing, that they stop being copies of something real. They just become reality itself.
Baudrillard actually broke it down into 4 steps. First, you have an image that's a faithful copy of reality. Then, stage 2, the image starts to twist or hide reality. In stage 3, the image pretends to be real, but it's actually hiding the fact that there's nothing real underneath it anymore. And then, the final stage, the image has 0 connection to reality at all. It's just a pure simulation floating on its own. He called that a simulacrum.
There's a great old story that makes this super clear. Imagine a group of map makers who create a map of their kingdom that's so perfect, so detailed, that it's the exact same size as the kingdom itself. But then, over centuries, the actual kingdom crumbles away. The cities, the farms, all gone. But the map survives. And eventually, people forget the real territory ever existed. They start living on the map, treating the simulation as the real thing. That, right there, is hyperreality.
So what does that mean for us? What happens when we start living on the map instead of in the territory? What's the psychological price of all this? Let's get into the human cost.
And this is where we hit a really big conflict.
On the one hand, you can see the upside, right? This stuff could be great for marketing, for creating amazing new entertainment, even for things like therapy. But the flip side is just as powerful. We're talking about huge risks, from massive misinformation campaigns to something even deeper, the erosion of our own sense of self.
And we dig in. Researchers have pinpointed 5 specific ways AI can mess with our heads. 1, it can just plain feed us wrong information. 2, it can take our existing societal biases and crank them up to 11. 3, it can build these false beliefs in our minds that become incredibly hard to get rid of. 4, it can manipulate what we buy and who we listen to. And 5, and this one's kind of sneaky, it can actually make us less curious. I mean, why go looking for answers when a machine can just give you one, right?
And the reason we fall for this stuff so easily has a name. Psychologists call it uncanny credibility. Basically, because these AIs are so good at sounding human, the language, the tone, everything. Our brains are just wired to trust them. It's a powerful bias. It makes it super easy for AI to influence us, and in the long run, it can make us start to doubt real human sources of information.
So all of this, it brings us to a pretty major crossroads, wouldn't you say? We as a society have to make some very real, very conscious choices about how we're going to deal with this technology. So, what do we do?
Well, let's just look at a couple areas, like marketing and healthcare. The pros are obvious, right? 24/7 availability, totally predictable performance, major innovation. But the cons are huge. Can an AI really show empathy in a therapy session? Are we okay with that level of manipulation in advertising? And of course, what about all the jobs this could displace?
So how do we manage this whole thing? Well, one idea is regulation. Some people are proposing something that's basically like a nutrition label for AI content. So when you see something, it would have to tell you, hey, this was made by this specific AI model. It might even have to show you the exact prompt that was used and the raw unedited version so you can see if it's been tweaked to be misleading.
Another option is to basically fight fire with fire. There's this idea called counter-speech, which means using good AIs to fact-check the bad AIs in real time. So if you see a piece of misleading content, another AI would pop up right next to it, giving you context and pointing out the flaws. It's like the marketplace of ideas on steroids, where the counter-argument is served up to you automatically.
Which leaves us with one last and maybe the most important question. In this world that's getting more and more crowded with synthetic content, with deepfakes and AI influencers all designed to get inside our heads, we really have to stop and ask ourselves who or what is actually writing the script. In the end, who is the author of your thoughts?